Welcome to Around the Track, the most exciting 15 minutes in wealth management by Dynasty Financial Partners and hosted by CEO Shirl Penney.
Hello. Welcome to another edition of Around the Track, the most exciting 15 minutes in wealth management. I'm your host, Shirl Penney, President and CEO of Dynasty Financial Partners. I'm really excited about this episode of Around the Track because I'm joined by one of my colleagues at Dynasty and good friends, Pam Stross, who joined us earlier this year when we acquired TruClarity. Pam is an executive in residence at Dynasty, which means she works on pretty much everything from coaching, mentoring, working with our clients, helping with sales, and really has become a leader with our Dynasty Women's Network initiative. Pam, thank you so much, first of all, for joining Dynasty and sitting down and having this conversation with me.
Thank you. I'm really excited. Thanks for the opportunity.
Yeah, it's really been special to get to know so many of your teammates that have joined as well, and we couldn't be more thrilled with the partnership and having all of your team members on board here at Dynasty.
Thank you. They're all excited to be here.
Awesome. Okay, you've seen past editions of Around the Track. You know the rules. There's really only one rule, which is we have 15 minutes to make our way around the virtual track here together. I'm going to ask you 8 rapid-fire questions. Each one of those questions represents 1 furlong and a mile around the track.
Okay.
So with that, as you know, in racing, how you break from the gate matters a lot.
And they're off.
So I'm going to ask you hopefully a nice softball question here. Tell us a little bit about yourself personally, professionally, and about your career here in the industry.
So I'm a Tampa native. I was born here. My father was in the Air Force, so we traveled quite a bit. Came back when I was around 14 years old. Spent the rest of my years here in Tampa. I actually entered financial services at a really young age. I went straight out of high school. My mother liked the fact that tellers in banks wore uniforms, so she wanted me to work in a bank. Nice. And my mother's weakness for somebody in a uniform ended up being the career that I really enjoy today.
That's awesome.
And so it's an awesome industry to be in. I love what I do, and I love working with the individuals in the industry.
Yeah. So look, I think a lot of the people viewing this conversation are going to know you from your time as being CEO of TruClarity, and one of the things that you guys did incredibly well was to help advisors transition to independence. Talk a little bit about why you were so passionate about helping advisors make the move to independence.
Yeah, I think as being a small business owner in my past, it was something that you just really had an appreciation for, and to be able to work with somebody and help them achieve a dream, as you know, you've done it for years as well, is just an amazing thing. I think at TruClarity we had the ability to really look at that white glove service. And somehow in my entire years in financial services, I was always in kind of an area that was really about the white glove side of it. And so it was something that was really passionate to me for them to feel like they had a partner and this was something they could achieve and to be educational in that process. And so it was like a dream to be able to do something like that.
Yeah, and you mentioned the word dream. I know we've had conversations in the past, the American dream, right, is something that obviously is near and dear to both of us, and it's special when you get to help somebody unlock their version of the American dream, and we oftentimes like to talk about we get to live our American dream by empowering others to live theirs, and I know that was a big part of the philosophical alignment that we shared when we sat down and talked about putting the organizations together.
Absolutely.
All right. So shifting gears a little bit, it's still early. You've been here, give or take, call it 6 months. But as you started to spend time with some of the Dynasty clients and firms, what are some things that have kind of stood out from spending time with our clients?
I think what's been really exciting is not only with the clients, but the Dynasty team internally. Just the passion that you feel, and just the intelligence and the brightness, and it's almost palpable. They so are happy with what they're being able to do now. And so I think that has been just a really great experience for me. I had an opportunity to meet a few clients. I have a lot more to be able to meet with as well. But you can just see that partnership and that bond that's there, which is something that you just love to see in a situation like that.
Yeah. One of the things we've also spent a lot of time talking about is how much you like to coach. And one of the things, as we started to get to know your clients, I kept hearing is how much your clients really enjoyed working with you. right? Kept hearing how amazing and how great Pam is, which was great to hear. So if you were to talk to more broadly leaders who are watching this within the RIA space, CEOs, whether they're first-time CEOs or been running their firms for a while, what are some things that if you look out, let's say, over the next couple of years within the industry, would you advise them to be really focused on?
I think one thing that's really important and all advisors should think about is it's never too early to have a succession plan, and you're never too young to start that way. You know, what I've experienced personally over the last year or so is there's a lot of things that can change, you know, what your roadmap looks like.
Right.
And it's not just based on age. And so even if it's just starting a discussion to think about what that would look like, I think that that's something that everybody should really have on their plate to a certain extent. I think next generation is huge, and of course that changes every time a new generation starts. But whether you're hiring individuals that are part of that next generation and understanding what motivates them, because every generation is different, or you have a family that you're going to work with the next generation on, again, you know, you're probably going to be looking at something different than what's been done over the years. Or just bringing in next generation clients. So I think that's something that really affects every advisor firm out there. And then I think as your firm ages and matures, when you look at your strategic partners that are a part of who you are and what you do, there's so many different parts of your life cycle from when you first come out of the box, and then you kind of gain that stability and you start growing your firm.
Right.
And then you start to look at things going forward. You know, what does your firm look like? Your strategic partner is growing with you, so those things actually change over time. And so I think it's always important to kind of keep that top of mind.
Yeah, no, I think that's great. And oftentimes I think it's a little bit, when we talk to advisors, it's like the cobbler's shoes, right? They're
Absolutely.
telling, you know, their clients about the importance of planning and succession planning, but oftentimes not prioritizing doing it themselves at home. So I thought some really great points there. Look, I know you've spent a lot of time over the course of your career working with a number of different advisors that are contemplating going independent, but one of the things that I know we've spoken about as well is your passion and perhaps a bit of a mission as well to try to inspire more female leaders or female advisors to make the move to independence. So what would you say to female-led teams that maybe are still in captivity that are thinking about going independent? What advice and guidance would you offer to them?
I think it is a different approach when it's a female team. There's not a lot of role models. They don't have a buddy that just did it kind of a thing.
Yeah.
And so I think they approach it very deliberately because their messaging really has to be a little bit different because you don't see that many female independent firms. And so I think that the ones that I've worked with are very focused on how they're going to message that, how that's going to be received. It seems like that they do a good job of coming up with a niche client that is, whether it's, females who've come into money, through death or through inheritance, and they have a almost different kind of relationship with their clients. And so I think it is a little harder for them to kind of see that vision just because there's not a lot of role models out there for them right now.
So what advice would you have for them then to get started?
I think the biggest thing is to, and this is going to sound funny, but to take the fact that you're a female out of the equation and just look at yourself as an advisor and make those same decisions that any other advisor would make. Clients, as you know, clients follow their advisors because that's a trusted individual. And I think the fear that maybe your clients are going to come with you because it's not that common, I don't think that's really going to play out for them. But it's even hard for any advisor to know that their clients are going to come with them.
Yeah.
But I think that the way they have built their relationships over the years, I've seen them be very successful when they come over into the space.
That's great. So let's talk about team members here for a second. One of the things I'm super proud of with us here at Dynasty is half of the organization are females. And it seems like every time I turn around or I look out on the floor, I see you walking, with one of the young superstars in the organization, going to grab a cup of coffee, going to lunch. You've been, in a really short period of time, an amazing mentor to jump in and really be a role model to others here at the firm. So thank you for that. But what would you say more broadly to younger female professionals that are looking to grow their career in this industry over time?
I think that one thing that's important is to look for a role model and reach out to that role model, and reach out and start a conversation. I think most people are going to be open to that, and they're going to be flattered by that. And so I think that sometimes it can be a nature to say, okay, I'm going to pigeonhole myself because that's an industry standard. And I think you have to look beyond that. And so I think to be able to really have the confidence in yourself that there's a lot I can do, and it doesn't have anything to do with whether I'm a male or a female.
Right.
But I think really to be able to have that role model that they can talk to. I've had a lot of questions in my time here of, tell me how you got to where you are and what was it like in the beginning, how did you overcome those things? And I think that's a valuable information for younger people to have, so they see that in their future. They can see what that road looks like.
All right, great. Thanks for that. So we're in the stretch, right? Just 2 questions left, almost to the finish line. Let me ask you a question that I get asked a lot, given your perspective. You've seen so many different teams, thinking about moving to the independent space, or you've helped so many that have moved. Oftentimes, I get asked, what are some pitfalls? What are mistakes that my peers have made? What can I learn, kind of collectively, from those mistakes? When someone asks you that question, what do you say?
I think one of the pitfalls can be maybe following what your peer did and not thinking of that I need to do this structured for me and what I want. Right. And a lot of times you'll talk to an advisor and it's like, well, my buddy's going to use this, this, and this, and they're going to do that, so I'm going to do the same thing. And this
their
is your
business is different.
Right.
Yeah.
This is your opportunity to make this your firm and set it up the way you want to. So I think it's easy to get caught up in that trap of I don't have to make all the decisions because my friend already did that. I think it's important as you go through the process to make sure that whoever you're talking to and whoever's giving you guidance is listening and not just trying to sell you something. Because if someone's not really listening to what you're saying, that's a good way for you to end up with a mismatch.
Yeah.
And it's never wrong to say, hey, I need to be heard. Sometimes if you don't look at everything that's available to you out there, and you have to do it within reason, it's hard to make the right decision because you don't know what you don't know in the space. And so I think it's to be able to really get a good idea of here's the different paths I can go down, and here's where that's going to take me in the long run. And most importantly, what's making me do this is a huge contributor to obviously the decisions you're going to make. But I think one of the biggest pitfalls I've ever seen is just to try to follow what the last guy did.
Yeah, I think that's really good guidance. We always tell people, make sure you start early in the due diligence. Talk to a number of peers, right? And I love what you're saying about, this is really the one time for an advisor to be able to custom build the firm in their vision, right? In terms of how they want to service clients, take care of their team members, et cetera. So thanks for that. All right, we've come to the last question. Every guest on the show gets asked the same question for the last question. And this really pulls together, my passion of racing. And in racing, we all focus on aspiring someday to win the Triple Crown. And it's a goal that for most anyone is unattainable. Like so many things have to go right, but it's a big, bold goal that sits out there. So if you think about, your career, personal, professional life, however you want to answer it, what is that one big, seemingly unattainable goal that sits out there for you, but you're super excited to get up every morning and run hard after?
So it's a great question and something I really do think about a lot, and I've thought about a lot over the last several months. I've got a great opportunity here with Dynasty. It's a platform, and it's a platform that is very well respected in the industry. I have a lot of experience behind me, a lot of years, number one, a lot of bumps and bruises and skint knees. And so, you learn a lot over the years of things that work and don't work.
Absolutely.
And you've seen a lot of changes in the industry. So I think this really gives my voice a little bit bigger audience to be able to continue to work with advisors and kind of help them make their dreams come true.
That's awesome. Well, we're super excited to have you here. I'm personally excited to see what you do with the opportunity, because I know it's going to make a big impact, not just on our team here and our clients, but I believe the industry as well. So thank you for being a partner. Thank you for sitting down and having this conversation. It was a lot of fun.
Thank you.
And thank you to all of you for tuning in again to another edition of Around the Track.